It's easy. It's easy. Good evening and welcome to Virginia's Views and Vibes. I'm your host, Ginny Gardner, and tonight it's a special treat for me because I have a guest I've known probably 90% of my life, and he does a lot behind the scenes for my show, and he's done, I think, set, sound, music a little bit. He's helped me choose the music. And he's very knowledgeable. He's sort of my, he helps me get all the information I need for the show. And so his name is, surprise guest, George Gardner. Welcome, George.
Well, thank you.
Isn't it fun to be here with me?
It is wonderful.
It's exciting.
It is.
Yeah, it is. So tonight, I thought we would talk a little bit about, first of all, it's the holidays. So we both belong to the Post 440. You belong to the Sons of the American Legion, and I belong to the American Legion Auxiliary. You're hanging on my every word, George. I'm loving this. And I'm in total control. This is cool. So anyhow, you belong to that organization, and I belong to the women's group. And we both do a lot together. We've been in 7 years, I think.
Yeah.
And with your group, you sort of do a lot of the veterans things, and our group the same. Would you like to talk about what we're doing this week a little bit with the Thursday night?
Thursday night, the 19th, there is going to be a gift card collection for homeless vets. So you get a $25 gift card, and they will hand them out Christmas Day at the Court Street Homeless Shelter for veterans.
That's right. I'm going to elaborate a little bit.
Please.
Because in order to get to our event, which is sponsored by the American Legion Auxiliary, American Legion, and Sons of the American Legion, in order to get through the door, your admission, instead of $25 or a donation, is in actual fact a $25 gift card. And what we do that for is we give them on Christmas morning to the homeless vets, and we go there on Christmas morning, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but let's get back to the actual party. This year we're having Watch City Cadillacs sing. We're having the Kevin McNamara, who's a great performer, and the Lalas, Sandy Ora, Donna, Louise, Helen, and anyone else that wants to walk up to the mic and help us sing Christmas carols. We do that every year. And then a great dinner. So it's a great event. It's a fun event.
It is a fun event, and there's a lot of great people there that put a tremendous effort into working with the homeless vets.
There is Kevin Mack.
Kevin is tireless.
Yeah.
And Nick, the Pascarosas, Nick and Paul.
Yep.
And our new commander for the SALs is David Snyder,
Yep.
who works tirelessly with the veterans.
He does. Treasurer is Bruce Cicaldi,
Bruce
another Newton name that we've
Yep.
known forever. I've known him, I think,
Yeah.
since first grade.
And Donnie Gentile will be there.
Yeah, Donnie Gentile. Donna Cottons is my commander. And then the board, which is Louise Savetti, Helen, Diane, Donna, Kathy McDougall, Beth, Sandy, and a great crowd. It's a great group, and we all have fun, and I think that's equally as important as having fun, and we do a lot for the veterans. So that's Thursday night, and then I think we have another event that's very important is what we do on Christmas morning, and that that was started by, do you remember?
That was started by the Republican
That's
Party,
right. Yeah.
and Newton Republicans.
In particular.
Tom Mountain.
And Margot Weinstein.
Margot Einstein.
Margot
yes,
Weinstein.
Margot.
She's 101, I think, now.
Approaching 102, planning her birthday.
Planning her birthday. Great lady. Aura Mountain, Sandy Young. I'm trying to think who else. Do you remember who else?
I'm sure Alan
Al Cicconelli.
Cicconelli,
Alan Dexter. Trying to think who else. God, Mike, can you name anyone I'm forgetting? That original group. But anyway, they started it.
Right.
And then when Tom became a member of the American Legion Auxiliary, they sort of merged a little bit with the the American Legion, Sons of the American Legion. They sort of merged in, and then it's huge, absolutely huge. And Tom Mountain's still involved. We all go in,
Right.
take a happy bus into into the homeless shelter.
Well, then you have Kevin Mack and his granddaughter, who is a phenomenal
Yeah,
singer, singing Christmas carols to the vets.
that's absolutely right.
And I mean, it's
It is
a lot
fun.
of fun.
It is a lot of
And it's
fun.
very rewarding.
It is. It is. And, you know, a funny story, we also do an event in the summer. And some of the same homeless people that are in the shelter now come to our July event. We go on, we cruise the Charles River. It's actually very nice. And two of the gentlemen came up to me. You're going to find this very hard to believe. And said they recognized me as I was one of the singers on Christmas morning. So although most of my family thinks I can't sing, and rightly so,
Right.
they did appreciate the singing. So we do a great job, and it is a lot of fun. And I guess that, what else are we going to do there? We're having Elvis.
Yeah, the Sons.
February 8th.
February 8th are going to have Elvis, Dan Fontaine,
Yep.
and he puts on a
Excellent.
great show.
Excellent. He will be fun. It'll be February. I think that's the first thing we're kind of doing. We have a break
after
now.
The holidays, yeah. after
Let's talk a little
Christmas
bit
and
about
Hanukkah.
Saturday Night Live. That's a lot of fun. Saturday Night Live.
Well, that's Al Cicconelli's
Yeah.
love, and he enjoys getting all the bands together. And at the American Legion, they every Saturday night they have a live band and
Pizza.
pizza. For $10, it's a night
Donation.
out. And
Donation.
Yeah.
$10 donation. It's not
Donation.
required, so donation.
Donation. But it's a nice take. The people are very nice. It's
Great bands.
wonderful bands.
And you get to dance, which once in a blue moon.
Once-
So that is fun, and it is. We have pizza, and it's a great way to help the veterans, and it is fun with a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
So that is good. So I think that's our next event would be the Elvis at the Post 440, 295 California Street,
295 California Street.
and then the following week we're having Behind the Mic, Mike Callahan.
Valentine's Day.
Right, that's a Valentine's Day event put on by the American Legion Auxiliary, but some of the proceeds will probably go back directly to the the Post itself.
Well, the nice thing about the American Legion is you share all your proceeds with each group, and you all have your different groups that you donate to, but you work very well together.
Yeah.
It's a nice team.
Well, I think when Nick was commander, he was kind of thought that we should all work together instead of independently. When the American Legion Auxiliary will do something, Nick kind of feels that as a group we do better.
Right.
We have the more the merrier and the more success, and I think that's really important because when we do that, we get more people in, and we raise money, and our goal is always the veterans. So, and I know both you and I feel strongly about veterans. Your dad has a great story. He was a Marine, And I can't say was a Marine because
You-
never supposed to
you're-
say that.
Right.
So you can talk.
But both our parents served
Served.
in the South Pacific.
Yeah. Talk about your dad, because your dad was a Marine. I just said it again, but was a Marine. But you've got good stories. He told one. This is one of my favorite your father stories. He had some kind of injury on his arm.
Well, my youngest sister, the baby of the family, Beth, he had a scar on his arm, and he never told us how he got it, but you assume he was wounded somehow, and he always told us that a saber-toothed tiger bit him in the jungle. And up until the time that I think she got married,
She believed it.
It was hysterical when we told her. You really don't believe that, do you?
I think she was. I think it was right before she got married. You're right.
Yeah.
That she said, "Wait a minute." I remember. Wait a minute. That's not true.
Yeah.
And you never did find out.
No,
What
he never
happened?
told.
They-
No,
he
he never
never
got
talked
into the
about it.
gory details of
Yeah.
battles. Touched a little bit about Okinawa. He was in Nagasaki after the bomb, and
Yeah. Right after.
his big story there was their pastime was getting a goat trunk.
Really.
Yeah, they'd get their
How'd I
bear
miss that?
rations and pour it into a helmet and feed it to a goat. So that was
That's a
their
wonderful
entertainment.
story. Just wonderful.
Yeah.
But he was in almost immediately after the bombing. I believe.
I think he didn't get in until maybe 43, I think.
Really.
And one of the stories, they were shipping out, and the drill sergeant he absolutely despised because, well, drill sergeants are drill sergeants. And the drill sergeant saw him and said, "Come on, we'll get a beer." My father told him to go to hell. He says, "I wish I had the beer with him." He says, his training probably saved my life, and he didn't make it. And that was
wow.
Iwo Jima.
Wow, Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
Wow. And then my dad was in Guadalcanal.
Guadalcanal.
And about the same time, and they were both Waltham kids.
Yeah.
Both our families
Yeah.
originally lived in Waltham.
Yeah.
Didn't know each other at all, but different. I think my father was in the Bleachery, and your
Right.
father was on Felton Street.
Felton Street,
Yeah.
in that area. Yeah.
So that far away.
I know.
But they both served, and I think that's important to both of us. In their memory, we volunteer and do a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's a big part of what we do there. But you are my go-to for all things political. See, people
All things
think
political.
that that I do a lot of reading and listening, and I do, but I also bounce everything off of you. So I want to hear your take on a couple of things that have been happening, in the news. First of all, I think it's important to acknowledge that there was another school shooting, and absolute sympathy and prayers go out to the family. And these things should never happen in this country. And our prayers go out to Minneapolis, Minnesota. So again, our condolences. School shootings, no need for them to happen. I think, honestly, my opinion on this, mental health has not been adequately addressed in this country. For anyone to have mental health issues that go unseen, unheard, unmedicated, untreated is a disgrace. It's a national disgrace. And I blame some of the school shootings and a lot of the violence on the lack of mental health care.
Well, I blame our state legislators and the federal. Mental health has not been addressed. They closed down the institutions. There are people out there that have to be confined, and we just let them walk. That's part of the homeless population now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The people with mental illness and drug addiction. It's disgraceful that a country like the America has that kind of issue, and that's being ignored.
It's been ignored. The politicians will stomp their feet and stand up and say, make excuses that this is because of X, Y, Z. They never address the real problem, which is the mental health, the lack of mental health.
100%.
And mental health help. And you and I both know when we were in high school that part of what, I think you came with me once. Part of what I did it was to be confirmed, Christian doctrine for my confirmation. We had to give back to the community, the Catholic community, and we decided that we would join the Legion of Mary. Mr. Steve Capoli from Auburndale said, if you want to do your Catholic service, join our group, and we did. And we would go every Wednesday night, all year long, without fail, to the Metropolitan State Hospital, and they would, we were only about 16, 17, 18, and we would always have an adult with us, and we handed out to the patients cigarettes, do you remember?
Yep.
Cigarettes, candy, mints, and they would open these huge doors, unlock them,
behind you.
Lock them behind us, and we walked around giving out, like I say, gum, candy, cigarettes to the people that were institutionalized. Right. And they unlocked and locked the doors because they were dangerous. And I think, again, at some level, some people need to be put into a facility until they can get well.
Right.
So that, to me, is one of the big issues that I think has been neglected in this country. Another one, let's talk about, we have, I think they said about 10 minutes. I want to get through this quickly. You know, one of my big issues is XXXY, and you know what that is, women's sports. And you too feel that, I think, that transgender women do not belong in women's sports. And President Trump, part of his platform, agreed with me and you that transgenders should not be a part of women's sports.
Well, I mean, our daughter played college and high school sports, and you would watch the young ladies play, and I mean, they were, you know, they played their style, but if you watch the men's team, they were much more aggressive.
Absolutely. And
to put a man, or a man that's identifying as a woman, in the same field, I just find it to be a dangerous situation. The body mass, the muscle, the speed is totally different, and just the physical makeup is different, and you know, it just makes an unfair advantage to that individual.
Yeah, and I'll take it to a next level. I think anyone that was born male needs to stay out of locker rooms in women's sports. I think it's dangerous. It's not safe in a locker room, and it's dangerous. And I know that 3 young women have been seriously hurt in Massachusetts, by having men, transgender women, men on these sports teams. And that speaks volumes. And I hope that legislatively our state legislature will address this, because it is not safe. And I know the Republican State Committee, we were at the meeting when they all signed on to a resolution that they want men, transgender women, out of women's sports. And you know, it takes positions away from women. If there's a transgender woman on the team or girl, that means a real girl, a biological girl, a real XX, does not have the slot, is not part of a championship, and is not part of a team.
Well, they talk about fairness, and you know, life is not fair. And
right.
Unfortunately, there are positions that you have to take a stand, and it's not fair to the young ladies. I mean, Title IX was put in to even off the playing field, and now they're taking that away from the young ladies, and it's wrong in my opinion.
It's not fair. And you know, if you don't believe that men and women are different, I have to tell a story, and Rebecca will probably hit the roof. Do you remember when Becca was at Curry College, and she was an aggressive player, and she could take a hit, but I think it was her fingernail got bent back and broke, and you would have thought she needed triage at Newton Wellesley Hospital. So, and she was a tough cookie. I'm not saying she wasn't, but I just remember that. I think they had to take her out in a golf cart. No, no. Well, she took a ride. She took a ride up the hill in a golf cart.
I think they put a little tape around it, and she was fine.
And let's not talk about ear piercing.
Oh God.
Let's not even go there.
No.
But anyway, but there is, and I'm proud of that. There is a difference. And you know, I've been running for, gosh, 30 years, 32 years.
At least.
I would never be able to beat a man. I couldn't beat an 80-year-old man right now. You can't compete. You can't compete.
You could beat a 70-year-old man, though.
Maybe. Maybe, yeah. So anyhow, that's I think we both share that opinion. Let's talk about the border and border safety and what has happened at the border.
Well, every country has border safety, and I just don't understand why a segment of our population feels that we should just open the doors and let anyone in. We are taking services away from people that have been born here, that need services, and giving it to illegal migrants. And they're getting EBT cards, housing. Now we have homeless people all over the streets, living in tents. But someone that just crossed the border is in a hotel and getting 3 square meals a day. I mean, doesn't charity start at home?
Charity starts at home. And I think that another issue that we both agree on is I think I have my father's flag at our house, the flag that was draped over his coffin because he's a veteran. And that was a proud moment for me to have that. I'm very proud that I was able to have that. My sisters said it was okay. And I think your father and my father would be appalled and disgusted that homeless veterans are sleeping outside on a cold, bitter night or in the heat of the summer, and that they're being ignored while people that are not citizens and have not legally, should not legally be here, are getting food, hotel, card, shoes, new clothes, all the things that they're being treated like they're on vacation, while homeless veterans are sleeping out in the street, in oftentimes going through the garbage to eat.
Absolutely.
And I feel very strongly that this country has ignored the very people that have made America great, and I have no problem helping people if they come here legally, but not at the cost of veterans.
Legal immigration is what this country was built on.
Yeah, legal immigration.
Legal.
Correct.
Legal.
Absolutely. And then the fact that they're not vetted. Again, you've heard me rant about people that came here, they've been released from prisons and institutions, and they've been told by the government, don't come back or we'll shoot you. And they come here, and oftentimes they have absolutely no respect for women. And Laken Riley is a perfect example of that. They murdered her. She went out running, getting exercise, staying healthy, part of what she did, and was brutally, brutally murdered. And she fought 10 minutes for her life.
10 or 20 minutes, I think.
And she fought and was brutally murdered by an illegal that shouldn't have been here. He had been arrested, should have been deported, and here he is, killing people.
Our government doesn't know where 500,000 children are.
Right, right.
So they're either in slave labor or in the sex trade.
Yeah. We have 4 minutes, so I'm going to go through this kind of quick and ask your opinion. We can kind of do a quick yes or no, maybe, keep it short and sweet. So let's start with Department of Government Efficiency, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk.
That's going to be
Thumbs
fun
up.
to watch. Yeah, absolutely.
Thumbs up, definitely.
Yep.
They will do great things.
They will clean house.
They will clean house. We're talking about the border. Thomas Holman, borders are thumbs up.
But thumbs up,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Oh, that's just going to be an interesting 6 months a year to watch the changes that are coming.
Absolutely. What you see is what you get. There's no flies on him. If he says it, he means it. And that's refreshing.
It's nice to hear the truth coming out of people's mouths.
It is. No more, yeah. Drones. We want to talk about quickly the drones?
Who knows what those... I mean, you hear all kinds of rumors.
Yeah. That's a fun one because, well, it's not fun. In actual fact, it's not fun. But I've heard UFOs, but then the reality is probably something so simple, but they don't want to tell us because they think that we can't handle the truth.
Well, that's my gut feeling.
Yeah.
But I've heard they're looking for dirty bombs.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what,
I've heard...
I think they're military, my personal
No,
opinion.
they're not military. They said today that they did not think, well, if you
They
can
said.
believe them. Yeah, well, that's the
They
thing.
said
Can you
the border
believe them?
was secure, too.
Yeah, that's true. Pete Hegseth?
Oh, yes.
Hegseth? Am I saying that right? Up or down? Thumbs up.
Up.
Thumbs up, definitely. You
Yep.
know what? I don't care what anyone does in their private life. None of my business. Can you do the job? If you can do it, you're hired. And that's Pete. He'll be great. So let's see. RFK.
RFK, he's an interesting character. I don't agree with much of what he does, but the health food, if you go to Europe, they don't allow half the stuff that we put in our food, in their food.
I really like him. I think he was the first one that offered a reason why autism was on the rise, and I think it had to do with vaccines. Not necessarily the vaccine in and of itself, but more what they were using to preserve the vaccine, which was kind of like mercury. I like him. I think he brings out a lot of information, like you said, the food and drug. What's in our food? What are they using? The Cheerios we eat here, well, they will not let them eat
Right.
in Italy or
Right.
overseas. So I do like him, and I like that he's getting in there with pharmaceutical. I like him a lot. I think he'll be great.
Debate is good.
Discussion is great. Mike Huckabee.
He's an interesting character,
I
but
like
I think he'll do a nice job in Israel. And Israel is one of our strongest allies.
Yep, I think he'll be great there. I think you'll see a book. He'll write a book, and we'll learn more about Israel, Jerusalem, and the connection between Christian and Jews. I can't wait. He's going to be great. It'll be a great 4 years. Fasten your seatbelt. Great things are happening. And thank you, George.
Oh.
I owe you dinner.
You do.
Well, you get
So
dinner
I am the
every
first
night.
draftee of this administration, right?
I'll buy you dinner.
Okay.
Dinner's on me.